Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. Today we're taking on the new Crevasse stages, and this is the Grace Descending stage, so this is the second of the three Shinryu, so my plan is to upload all three Shinryu fights, right? So in this fight, the thing that's cool about these fights is it's not just like me blowing it up with a meta team. Because of the codes, I'm doing specific team comps here. So this is a team where I'm going with a triple Dagger comp, and then I believe I've got... what is it, like 2 blue and 1 yellow, something like that. I've got 2 of one crystal and 1 of the other. So, you know, when I do Crevasse, I don't go for like the insane max score where you gotta have like triple weapon, triple color, and like all 3 Shinryus. Like, that's really, really hard to do. So I usually go for like triple of something, and then I try to get like a 2 and a 1, something like that. And then obviously I put on like the codes for the force enhancements or whatever for the enemies. So that's pretty much what I have here. So basically on my Shinryus, I'm going for like a base score of like 45 to 46, something like that, and then you get like a 2.5 modifier. Basically on this fight, and then the other Shinryu fight I'm going to upload tonight, I got 115 points after the multiplier. So that means with all 3 Shinryus, I'm going to average like 350, 375 points, something like that, like in that range, right? And I think you need like 525 for all the main rewards. So I'm hoping that if I can average at least 100 plus points on each Shinryu, then if I can go really crazy on the other ones and, you know, try to put in some crazy codes to really up those scores. Hopefully I can get to the 500 whatever mark. We'll kind of see. I'm going to play it out and see, and I can always go back and redo fights if I need to, right? So the thing that is kind of exemplified in this fight, Edge and Ferris are just kind of there. This fight is literally just Penelo carrying, like, the whole way. It's actually kind of crazy, and I'm actually realizing, like, even more so how powerful Penelo is, just, like, as a standalone unit, because Ferris and Edge, they, like, provide nothing to Penelo in terms of support, like, virtually nothing, right? Edge is just giving, like, party-wide dodge, which I think I barely even get it off in this fight. Ferris is just pumping out a bunch of debuffs, right? The reason why I ran Ferris here is because I remember the enemies did something where, like, if they do their force ability and they don't have debuffs on, they auto-kill you, so I wanted to make sure I had debuffs. In retrospect, I probably could have swapped Edge or Ferris for, like, Lillicet and actually given Penelo a little bit more support, but it's kind of crazy how, like, Penelo just carries the damage. It's really insane, actually, just shows how good she is. And to kind of exemplify it even more, on one of the other Shinryu fights, I did a run where I'm like, alright, I'm going to use Machina. I tried doing a triple sword run on one of them. And I used Machina as my main damage dealer in a similar situation where, like, he wasn't heavily supported. It was just kind of 2 other, like, semi-utility slash DPS users. Actually, I think it was Machina, Ramza, and Bartz. And actually, Ramza and Bartz are support units. And Machina, I did like a force burst with him, and it did not feel as strong as Penelo. And this was Penelo basically just soloing, which is kind of crazy that Penelo in this fight felt stronger than like a double supported Machina, which was kind of insane. It just shows how crazy she is. And I feel like, you know, you kind of got to pick and choose which fight you want to use Penelo in. I chose this one just because, I guess. I just felt like trying it. It felt like the first and the third fights really felt like super aggressive, and it depends on the codes that you put on. But I kind of wanted to go more defense comp. So what you're going to see for my first stage of Crevasse run, that I run a full Greatsword team, and it's like a defensive comp. Well, kind of. It's defense, but then like Jack Garland carries the damage in that video, right? So that one will be going up. I still have to finish my run for Grace Descending 6, which is going to be like the last part, right? So we'll see what I decide to go with for that one. I could potentially still do, I kind of did an attempt with like a double Dagger run, because double Dagger gets a little bit more points than some of the other codes. But I might just do like a triple color on that one and see what kind of crazy team I can put up with just a triple color. The thing I was really annoyed with is how I wish they had just more codes. I wish they just opened up more of the weapons, because like they never put like whip on there. You know, and I actually wanted to do like a Rydia run, but then like Rydia's weapon gets me no points. So then it like really deters me from using Rydia, right? So I wish that like every weapon at least had like a ×1 bonus, so I could get something for the weapon. The other one that's not on there that really makes me mad is bow. There was no bow codes on there. And it was very unfortunate because I could do a nice setup with Maria and Trey, and they're both dark bows. So I could do a ×2 dark and a ×2 bow with Maria and Trey, and they work really well with Maria FR. and I can't do it because I don't get bonus points. And that's what Crevasse is about. It's like, you need points from the codes. Now, if I get desperate, I'll just like run whatever busted team I want and see how many codes I can get out of it. But ultimately, I would like to get, you know, a ×2 code with a ×1, and then maybe a ×3 or another ×2 and a ×1, something to that effect, right? Anyways, we are in the middle of a force time here, right? Obviously, we're just letting Penelo kind of run the show here, and I'm in the middle of Penelo's burst, and this Fatal Dance, look at that damage, 8 mil AoE, like her damage is insane, and she doesn't have a heavy prayer on, she's not getting supported, there's no launching, there's no off turn. This damage is crazy, and she can push up to max gauge pretty darn easily, because even if I'm not just doing it with her 75% bumps, I can just do a force charge attack and get 125% bump. So she takes it almost all the way. After playing with her more, like, I'm realizing even more and more, like, I know I've been talking up Penelo a lot, but I feel like I almost, even with that, underrated her. Like, she is really good, you guys. Like I said, she's basically soloing the fight. The other two daggers are just bodies. Like, that's really all they are in this fight. They're just bodies. Look, 115 mil burst phase. Once again, no launching, no support, no off turn. And very easily still got over 100 mil burst phase. It's kind of crazy. It's actually kind of crazy. So at this point, I'm like, I actually decide, because Ferris's damage is so weak. Like, and you notice in this video, Ferris and Edge, like, their stats are just so low. Like, there isn't enough support on the team that they're actually hitting ones. Like, they don't have enough physical damage to get over the enemies. So Penelo does it through, one, she's got ultimate weapon, you know, burst, whatever. She's got enough damage to actually do brave damage, but she just brave gains so much it doesn't matter that you're hitting them for ones. So it's kind of crazy, just, yeah, how this works. Now, there we took a scary moment. We, like, almost died there. But luckily, we survived it, and then I'm like, all right, well, we got Blitz Mirage, so I can pop Blitz Mirage, and then we're going to be, like, able to dodge out, right? So I felt fine after that happened, but yeah, that force attack, I almost got caught on that. And then the nice thing is Penelo's Fatal Dance heals, right? So I could decide to heal. Intercession heals as well, so Intercession's a free attack, so we pop that. I know it wasted a Fatal Dance, but right there, I just really wanted the free turn attack. And then we got some nice healing, right? And then I can still Fatal Dance. And what's so good about Fatal Dance is it's refreshing the buffs. Yeah, I want to do a little force charge there as well. But it refreshes the buffs, it heals, and it batteries. It's kind of crazy. So yeah, I decided to just go into a summon here. I know normally I would like to go into a summon at the end of a force time, but I decided to summon here because I just wanted some turns of, like, freedom. And then I'm going to go in Fatal Dance. Now you can see how busted this is without, yeah, look at that, 1.5 mil AoE, like, healed and batteried us and refreshed buffs. And that's, like, with no force multiplier, no support, just 1.5 mil AoE off an HP plus attack. Like, she's outdoing Machina right now, which is really crazy, and she's supposed to be a support. So, I said this before, kind of what's so crazy about her, it's like, yeah, she's, like, best support in the game, but she's also, like, also one of the best DPS in the games. And so what this opens up your team comp to do is you could run a crazy triple support or double support in, like, an off turn, but then Penelo's doubling as your DPS. You're just getting more auras than you normally could pack into your main DPS. So I'm going to be riding Penelo for a while. She is a ton of fun. I've already used her on Dare to Defy, so you won't see her on my other Dare to Defy runs. But on all the main Shinryus, I'm definitely going to be using her. Now, we'll see moving forward, because on the normal Dare to Defies, it's going to clear the main Shinryu, so I might not record a separate run of those. But for sure, I'm just going to make some Penelo showcases. One showcase I want to do is I think I want to take her into something like Divine Bahamut, where I know I can have, like, a ton of HP on the boss, multiple enemies to hit, and just see what kind of ridiculous burst phase I can put down with her. And then also maybe go into the same fight and see what I can do with, like, Anna Crow and Penelo, you know, stuff like that. Just more showcases that kind of show her off is I think what I'm going to be doing. But you can see here we're in a pretty good spot because enemies are at like 26%. We just started another force time, and this is cool. This is what's really cool. So you can see my back's against the wall. The enemy's got 3 turns in a row. Penelo, she can go intercession, and then we can just do free turn ramp charge. So watch what we're going to do here. we are just going to ramp up and not even give the enemies a turn, and we're going to ensure we have enough damage to kill them before they get a turn. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to ramp up while charging the gauge 125% a pop until another EX comes up. So you can do this loop with Penelo even if you don't have a burst phase. This is a great secondary force for her because we're getting the gauge really high. Now we go into intercession at 600%, which is really powerful, by the way. And then watch the damage. The enemies are just like cooked here. 6 mil AoE, right? And it's like, all right, the enemies still have like all these back-to-back turns. I'm going to be in trouble if I let him get a turn. So I'm like, let's just keep going. And this really is Penelo stealing the show. Like, other characters cannot do what she's doing right now. The way she is self-giving the turns, but then also dishing out the damage, right? And so I'm just going free attack, pushing the gauge up to cap, right? This part I was like really iffy, but we're like so close to getting the EX. I'm like, well, let's just do another charge. I really wanted to do an attack there, but I didn't want to pass turn. But this works out perfect. So now we got 2 turns left. So now we can EX intercession, and then I can end with Evanescence. And then we're getting just all this damage. So here's a cap, force time, 10 mil AoE on the EX. Pretty darn good, right? And then here comes the Evanescence. And I think this finishes. I think that's it. And it just worked out so perfect. It's just... And she's even doing ones there, right? And 10 mil AoE, they're out of here. So Penelo made that look... She carried Ferris and Edge there. Like, she just carried. And Edge and Ferris were there just for the codes. And there you go. We just stopped that with Penelo. She made that look so easy. So anyways, guys, let me know what you think of Penelo. Let me know how you're liking this Crevasse fight. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.